G'day guys, Scotty here from The Hook and the Cook, and welcome back to our channel. I've got a treat for you today. I'm going to do a beautiful little oyster dish, Kilpatrick and Mornay, my favourite. With Christmas coming up, I thought what a fantastic time to show you how to do this simple recipe. Okay, first step guys in making our oyster mornays is we've got a little cooker here. Just going to get that going and heat up my pan, and to that I'm just going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter, just melt that down, and once that melts down I'll then add some flour into the pan to help make our Mornay sauce. And just watch you don't burn the butter. If you are, just take it off the heat for a second. I'll just turn this down a little bit. That's it. It's melting nicely. And to that, what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of flour now. Yeah, you probably should sift the flour, but I'm just going to lightly put it in. And then just sort of stir that in. And then just whisk that around. Probably a little bit more flour into that. And you want it fairly thick, because what we're going to do now is add a little bit of milk to this and make our sauce. So just on a medium heat, not too hot, and just slowly keep adding the milk in until you get a really nice, thick, creamy consistency. Now Paul showed us this on many videos, lobster mornay, I think, and those sort of clips, what Paul calls a bechamel. A bechamel, I think he calls it, a bechamel? Yeah, so you can see now it's consistency starting to come together really nice, but we've got to get a nice runny sauce. So just slowly keep adding your milk and working it in. That's looking really nice. I'll just get a little bit more milk in there. And what I like to do also is, when we get to this consistency that I'm starting to see now, is I like to add in just a little bit of cheese, and that'll melt down nicely into the sauce. And it gives it a nice cheesy flavour from the word go. Probably a little bit more in there. And that's looking like the consistency we want. Just remember, you can always add a little bit of flour in if you want to thicken it up again. But that consistency is looking really good. Because you want to be able to spoon this into your oysters. Now to that, I'm just going to add a beautiful little bit of sea salt there. Not too much. And then whisk that in. And there we have it. That's our Mornay sauce completed. I'll put that aside now, ready to go onto our oysters. Okay, we've made our beautiful white sauce, which I have here for our Mornay. I've plated my oysters up onto a nice tray there. So the first thing to do is take the Mornay sauce. Just give it a good stir again, because you've had it sitting. And then we'll just go through and just put a little bit in each oyster. like so. And just slowly work your way through. Put a nice little dollop on each oyster that you're going to make a Mornay. A little bit, doesn't matter if a little bit spills over the side. They'll probably do that in the cooking process anyway, as it melts. Okay, so that's our dozen Mornays. And what I'm going to do to that now is just add a little bit of cheese just on top to each one. And that'll just give it that beautiful Mornay cheesy flavour that we all love. And I'm sure your guests at Christmas time will love these if you can make these up for them. Very simple, very easy. Okay, so that's our Mornay done. It could add a little bit of cracked pepper. I've got a little bit of lime pepper here. I'm going to use a little bit of lime pepper today. Now I'm not going to sprinkle it out. I'm just going to use my fingers just to put a little bit on top of each one. This is a nice product from KRIO Krush. Really nice. It's good on fish. Works really well on oysters. So I'm just going to put a little bit on each one. And instead of black pepper, you could just use straight black pepper. But a little bit of lime pepper. Lime always goes really well with seafood. And I think this will be quite nice. There we go. So that's our Mornay's finished. Now on to the Kilpatrick. Okay, onto our Kilpatrick. Now Kilpatrick are pretty easy. I've pre-cooked some bacon there. I like to pre-cook it first. A lot of people just put it straight onto their oysters, but I like just to brown it off a little bit. And what we need to do is just grab a little pinch full of bacon and just pop it on top of each oyster. Very simple, this one. Just go through. Make sure you put enough on. If you spill a bit over the side, like I said, doesn't matter. Okay, so I've got enough bacon on all those. And the next thing we use is a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Don't need too much of this. Just a little bit on each oyster. A few drops. Like so. Okay, and then the final thing that I like to do with my Kilpatrick is just put a little bit of cheese on top. I think it just adds that little bit extra element, I think, to the Kilpatrick. My cheese is starting to melt together. It's quite a warm day here in Sydney today. And we're doing this outside because I'm going to cook these on the barbecue for you today, guys. So everyone can copy my recipe for Christmas time. I'm a little bit messy, but hey, it won't matter once they're cooked. And there you go, that's my spin on my way of doing Kilpatrick oysters and beautiful Mornay oysters. All right, now it's time to get the barbecue going. I've preheated the barbecue, so now we can go and put these into the barbecue and cook them up. They shouldn't take too long to cook. Okay guys, I've got our beautiful oyster Mornay and oyster Kilpatrick ready to go into the barbie. The last thing I'm going to do, Torino bring out a beautiful rosemary infused oil. So I'm just going to give that a good shake up. I'm just going to put a little bit on the Kilpatrick. Beautiful olive oil. Just a tiny drip on each one. I think that'll just add the value and the flavours to this really well. Oh, and olive oil is really good for you anyway. Special little element. A little bit of that beautiful rosemary flavoured oil from Torino. Okay, over to the barbecue. Here we go. So I've got the barbecue, I've preheated my barbecue. It's probably at about 150 to 180. I'm just going to pop that elevated in the barbecue. Right, that's most important. Up off the plate and make sure you got it elevated. Alright, so I'll leave it in there and give it probably 10 to 15 minutes and we'll just check and see how it's looking. Okay guys, it's time to check our oysters. They've been in there for about 10 minutes now, set at about 180 degrees. As you can see in the barbecue, they're elevated, the heat's nice all around them. The cheese is starting to melt nicely, but I reckon probably another 10 minutes and I reckon they'll be absolutely perfect. Okay guys, look at this. Our oysters are absolutely fantastic. Cooked to perfection. Well, there you have it guys, my famous twist to the beautiful oyster Mornay and the oyster Kilpatrick. I hope your friends enjoy a beautiful dish like this Christmas. Now guys, tune in every week to The Hook and the Cook. Please subscribe to our channel. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And we'll see you guys on the water next week somewhere. Cheers.
I'd like to give a big thank you to all our sponsors for 2019.